Let's talk a little bit about performance analysis. So we've got some incident and we need to find out what happened. Now, sometimes a standard process just isn't sufficient. Now, one of the criticisms that's been leveled at ISO 9001 is that it's a perfect specification for making concrete parachutes. That is, it concentrates on follow the process, but without any examination of whether it's a good process to follow or whether what was done was appropriate. Now, that's a reasonable criticism. And how this is overcome is by expecting that there would be professional judgment used to make right decisions at the time. Now, in something like IT system development, there are quite a number of decisions that have to be made. The circumstances are so variable that it's not possible to come up with a specification for doing exactly this. It's not cars, we're not making a few million of them. These are one-off things, and there are a lot of decisions to be made according to the circumstances. What happens then is that we allow, we train people up so they have the knowledge, and then we expect them to exercise that judgment. Now, if something's happened, something's gone wrong, we need to go back and examine whether that professional judgment was done well. There have been some attempts to measure levels of performance or levels of capability of how the processes were done. The most famous of them is the Capability Maturity Model, the Integrated Capability Maturity Model, which goes on the acronym of CMMI. There is that's the American version. The international standards version is called SPICE, for Software Process Improvement and Capability Determination. I should know it because I've been working on it for many years. Now, in this model, there are different levels of performance, and there are different indications of those levels. There are objective criteria for the different levels of performance. So we can use this standard to go back and examine, was the level of performance of the process appropriate for the circumstances? Now, that's great for situations where there is a level of judgment involved, but it does depend on there being a process assessment model and a process reference model available for it. Now, that's not all that common. There are coming to be more of them available. Most of the time they're used for commercial purposes. That is, the assessment is done to determine whether somebody should be given a contract, or it is done to try and find ways of improving things. Nevertheless, even the improvement is to determine where something isn't done the way it ought to be done for the circumstances, and therefore how to make it better. So this performance analysis is a method for investigating incidents. It's not often used, but it is there and can be used. Now, the disadvantages of a performance analysis is these tend to be fairly expensive. That is, one assessment would take about a week, and that's, you're dealing with maybe $50,000 or $60,000 by the time you add up all the cost of everybody involved. So they're quite expensive. They generate a lot of information about process performance, but they are not a directed inquiry. They don't go looking for specific causes of things. They can be used to assess likely future performance. Now, another disadvantage of these performance models is there aren't that many of them. So there really are a limited number of circumstances where you can use them. I do know that there are process assessment models for software development. There's at least one for service management. There is one I've heard of for financial banking systems, financial management. There are a number of them being developed for security management. There's one being developed, and one being developed for software testing, another for asset management. So there are a number of them coming up. But if you haven't got one, then there's not much you can do. One that I have heard of that is very good has been it's called the PPIR. It's the Professional Practice, Innovation and Risk standard. And it is intended to guide professional engineers about what's expected of them day in and day out as they make the decisions. What are you expected to do? How are you expected to document what you did so that things do not go wrong? And if things do go wrong, how we can track back through it all. So that's another variety of performance analysis. But they're the two main methods of doing it.